Well, well, well. It appears we made it back to New Springs, West Virginia. I'd like to say thank you for everyone tuning in once again. This is the third of four chapters of our game. Before we get to any announcements, content warnings, maybe some puns, I'm going to let my players introduce themselves with the roll of a die. Tot, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Ta or Tatiana. I am the writer and producer of the horror audio drama Actual Play Soul Operator, and I will be playing Cambry Walker for you all today.
If I understand correctly, they just that audio drama just got on to Rusty Quill. If I understand right.
I might have heard something about that. That is correct. We're very pleased to have joined the ranks of the Rusty Quill Network. If you enjoy shows like The Magnus Archives, Planet Arcana, Woebegone, Wake of Corrosion, The Cellar Letters, etc.,
Etc.
then our show might just be up your alley. So please check us out.
Thank
It's
you for
really
that.
good, by the way.
It's a
I
really
listened
great
to it.
show.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Mr. Quill's got wonderful taste. Oh, Taz, what's your name? What are you doing here?
Hi, I'm Taz, and I am playing the overbearingly preachy teacher with an eighth grade education, Miss Abilene Wolf.
I was gonna say, not
Perfect.
even her name. Not even
Not
her
even a
name.
nameless teacher. They
Yep,
exist out
the
there and they
teacher.
need better wages. Selena, what's your name? Who you playing?
Hi, I'm Selena, and I will be playing Charlie or Adrian Oberdine, and I am this fine town's doctor this
You
evening.
are
Mm,
fairly new to town, correct?
yes. It's
Wonderful.
been an interesting time with Miss Wolf, but we'll get into that.
It's always nice meeting the neighbors.
Mm.
My name is Rara, by the way. I didn't say that. I go by he, they pronouns, and I will be your storyteller for this evening. I want to thank Nerds with Dice for hosting this entire situation. Nothing but love to our producers. We've had two so far. We apologize to the first one. We just keep burning through them. They cry, they get angry at Tot, and then we have to get a new one. Um, I've got some announcements for the channel because Nerds with Dice has merch. There's links in there if you want merch. Who doesn't love merch? We're also raising money for hurricane relief because the Appalachias were greatly impacted by what happened in our recent history. Not really in our game, but more in our recent history. So if you donate, you'll be entered into a raffle to win a PDF copy of the Old Gods of Appalachia system, which is the one we are playing. And there is combat in it, though we have not seen that yet. I don't know why. What do we need? We need content warnings, don't we? We need some
Mm.
content warnings. Content warning. Unreliable narrator. Fear. Possible harm with potential light gore. Implied harm to animals in the form of hunting or fishing, but no descriptions. Death. Sudden character death. Instant sudden character death. Painfully sudden and instant character death. Death of a loved one. Possible violence. Possible body horror. Possible gore. No dance. Wait, maybe dancing, possible dancing, and definitely some profanity. So take care of your fucking self. Good job, everybody. Um, and one more note: when my players are dreaming, they remember being awake. If they're in their own bodies and all that jazz. If they're like a goat, they might forget who they were. Be reasonable. But when they're awake, they forget their dreams. So that's a fun game we're playing within this game. What happened last time, everybody? Everyone had a little sleep. Cam was busy. There was a dance. There were drinks, guests from out of town, and music. Ellen and Ed were walking out because the forest was on fire around Ed's house, which was weird at the end of the night, while they were searching for Cam, who was missing last session due to circumstances that have more to do with fame than anything we could really prevent. Cam, you are standing in water. Your pants are rolled up, no shoes, but if you were to glance real quickly, you'd see them over on the shore, just not very far. This is just as though you were walking through a stream. Your ears are loud with it. You'd assume you're not too far from the waterfall, Souls Fall, the largest waterfall in this part of West Virginia. Uh, you're not sure how you got here. It's dark out, like early morning, 3, 4 a.m. dark. It's a little cold, but you're dressed in clothing. How you feeling?
Cold,
Yeah, yeah.
uncertain.
Hmm.
I don't know how I got here, but I had the wherewithal to take off my shoes before getting in the water and roll up my pant legs. Am I fishing?
Oh, do you think you're fishing? Do you think this is your body? Actually, I guess I should ask that first, maybe. Do you think you're in your own body?
Recognize the skin that
Hmm.
I am inhabiting.
Do you?
I think I recognize this skin,
You
but I'm not
do.
sure it's mine.
Both are true statements. This appears to be your skin, but it doesn't appear to be your body, which is an uncomfortable situation for anyone to find themselves in. Um, but you don't appear hurt or anything. Like it appears you just kind of picked back up where maybe a pause button was hit, something of that sort. You even see a little pack next to your shoe, set down carefully, not tossed or thrown or anything like that. Far in the distance, you can see the earliest lights of day beginning, but you're still an hour from full dawn happening. You're just very high on top of Soul's Fall.
Hmm. This is a nice place to get a good view of the sunrise.
Truly.
Seeing it crest over the falls as I could peer down and see the lake in which it empties below.
Where
Further off, I can see the town.
And where Ed's little hut would normally be, you don't see any structures. He has a few neighbors within a couple miles, other fishermen types, and the river looks completely unbuilt on, but you do see the town.
Ed wouldn't move without saying anything. I think that would concern me more than anything else. He's my friend.
Hmm.
I should probably check up on him. Maybe he drank too much last night, and that's why I'm here seeing the sunrise alone and not with my usual companion. Where's my dog?
Where is your dog? Is this your body? Are we still sure about that?
I'm sure I have a dog.
It would make sense. A waterfall, you should probably have a dog.
I should have a dog. It seems like the kind of thing that you would do: toss a stick into the
Hmm.
lake, into the river, watch the dog chase the stick. That seems like a
Classic.
fun thing to do.
You hear a dog bark.
Hmm.
You don't see them. It's maybe a little into the foliage, the greenery around you at the edges of this little river that leads into the waterfall. Doesn't sound far, and it doesn't sound scared or anything. It sounds like a fun dog bark.
Out of an instinct that I'm not sure I've felt before, I start whistling for my dog.
Wonderful. Do you whistle a song? Do you whistle a melody? Is it a bunch of frantic notes from dry lips that have yet to play the song of their heart?
That falls on deaf ears.
So say we all. As you stand on top of this waterfall, singing a new song to the green, the dark shadows still heavy and held within underneath the canopy and behind the vines and bushes. You hear a little bit of a running ruckus, like through the underbrush, maybe another small dog bark, maybe another ruckus. It sounds like playing. It sounds like maybe you threw the stick too deep and now you're just waiting. But the whistle is loud out here over the churn of water. It is the only thing of that note without any night birds out and about. There should be singing soon, though. Dawn's not too far.
I feel a little bad for throwing the stick so far. I
Yeah, you
should.
should. Yeah.
My feet are going to get all pruned up if I keep in the water. I make my way over to the shore to where my shoes are and a little pack. It's not my pack, but it certainly is a pack with
Mhm.
things in it.
Mhm.
Uh, if I put on my socks now, they're going to be soggy, and I don't want to be like Ed. So I wait to put on my socks and instead begin to rifle through the pack near my shoes.
You find some dried herbs, maybe like a little not even a hunting knife, like a pocket knife. Excuse me. It doesn't appear that they packed for like any sort of long adventure. Like these are maybe what you'd carry with you if you were just walking not far from your home. It's strange though, because it's suddenly daytime as you're looking through these things, and it's almost like you don't realize it till you're done with the process because none of the sounds changed. The water kept going, the woods kept rustling, and then just suddenly you can see everything you're looking at very clearly. It almost looks like noon, high noon, sun right above your head.
Well, that's odd. I didn't think it would take me that long to look through a pack. The urge to keep the knife.
Hmm.
So I put it in the pocket of these pants that I am wearing. Um Not that I would have chosen for myself though. They're a bit too loose. They might get in the way if you're trying to run. They might get caught on your shoes. They're too big for me. Um Where's my dog?
Where is your dog? The rustling is still happening in the green. If you were to look down maybe at the town, at the river again, now that the sun is out, there's still no structure of where Ed's home was, but not even the normal docks that would be along the river. You do see a figure that looks like they're walking up the lone trail that comes up to town, and it looks like a familiar friend of yours, but much younger. Uh, the same height as Ellen, the same hair bob and like the step, but much quicker, much more youthful. And you can see their path is leading them directly to their home, which you can see in the day is Ellen's home has been rebuilt multiple times. It has been here for quite a while. You could almost swear that was Ellen or a relative of coming up to their home.
That's odd. I don't know any of Ellen's relatives, but I suppose it's possible maybe she has someone visiting from out of town.
Hmm.
That wouldn't really explain where Ed's house is, but maybe Ed is staying with Ellen. Mm, I know my dog. I trust my dog to come home with
Mhm.
me. So I put on my socks and I put on my shoes. I grab this pack that isn't mine. I don't want to leave it here. Someone might be looking for it. Um, and I make my way over to Nana Ellen's house.
As you're getting all of this together there at the river, you hear what maybe you would translate as your dog is running to you from just downstream. You hear kind of the fast steps in the water, not heavy and booming, but smaller. Uh, do you whistle more? Do you turn to look in this moment? You're not taken too off guard.
I would certainly turn to look. No need
Mhm.
to keep whistling if the dog's already coming.
You see a beautiful woman with brown skin and dark hair, high sharp boots and a little sharp coat. Almost looks vintage to the era you currently live in, a little older. And they're moving up to you pretty quickly. That you see their shoes are soaking wet as they walk through this stream. How close are you to the edge, whoever you are in this body?
Edge of the water?
A waterfall, yeah, or a couple
The
yards.
waterfall?
Yeah, well, that cliff, mountain, and
The
waterfall.
cliff?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I would say I'm a healthy distance away from the cliff's edge.
Hmm.
Probably several feet, maybe like 10 feet away.
That's a safe amount for sure.
That's a safe
Um,
amount.
as she grabs you and begins dragging this form to the edge with impossible strength for how thin and enchanting this woman is. You just see a little smile, like kind of a little wink, a flirty little wink as you're being drugged along the stone. You see a small sunflower ring on your finger as you Cam, you wake up in water. It's early morning. You're laying in it. Your back's all wet. This is your body. Back in town, Miss Abilene, Dr. Alberdine, the Triple A's. Miss Albeline, would you assume you slept fairly heavy because of the amount of moonshine you consumed just a few hours back?
Yes.
Yeah. Doctor, are you a light sleeper after a nip or two?
Hmm. I think I think Charlie's always been a little bit of a light sleeper,
Hmm.
but that's just also being around a lot of patients and check on them when they need it. Tonight,
Perfect.
yeah.
You're dreaming of a dream,
Mm.
or Charlie's dreaming of a dream. You remember this one because Charlie had been waiting for this dream to come back around. His other counterpart didn't glean the information that Charlie was after when they first had this experience. Just an average book about like folk history in West Virginia, more diary entry type of things, fairly dull research. But a few words and a few dates and a few phrases really piqued Charlie's interest, and he wasn't able to get to it. In this dream of a
Mm.
dream, Charlie is experiencing the other's dream of this memory and finally has a chance to look through these books. When when Charlie discovers that something does happen in New Springs about every 40 years or so, something that could have taps into elements of power, whether it light, the dark, or the green, is that something he coveted?
There's definitely Charlie definitely has an interest.
Hmm. Hmm.
They're still learning. They want to be better at their magic, but they're reaching for power but not greedily.
Wonderful. So if Charlie were to learn of an event, of
Mm.
a catalyst moment, of an important situation, how could he subconsciously get you to a city, even if it took years to make it happen? Would it be through dreams? Would it be through messages? Or would it be through little like puppet master type stuff?
Um
I use you kind of interchangeably.
yes.
Yeah.
Charlie and Adrian are a very interesting duo.
Hmm.
Um Charlie is more of the subconscious, that's for
Hmm.
sure. Adrian fronts most of the time. Um much to Charlie's discomfort cuz it's their body
Yeah,
and they're a
true.
little miffed about that. Um but now being in this dream and able to actually read it and know it better than
Hmm.
just kind of seeing through a almost vision.
True.
Um Charlie is ravenously reading through this and absorbing as much information as possible and would have just yeah subconsciously maybe through dreams but also Adrian has been looking for something has been looking for something anyways and doesn't
Hmm.
really know what it was, but that little nudge from Charlie has definitely helped. I know there's something here. The Bellflowers have given them that impression that there's something here, and even if it wasn't Charlie talking.
Truly. And unfortunately, you're pulled out of this remembrance dream by the sounds of people in the town yelling out, "Fire! Fire by the river!" As some people have realized what's going on. Miss Abilene, you are dozing away, as wonderful as can be. All around you, you see just endless fog. It's not dark, it's light. Maybe a 5, 8 foot periphery around you, but beyond that, it just gets dense and gray. If you were to pass through it, it feels cool to the touch, like a natural fog, but it's so dense and the ground is just soil with no grass, no leaf, no stone, just clean brown. You're here. Do you think you've dreamt of this place before?
No, I have no idea where I am.
That's true, you don't. That's the way you'll remember it later, that you just didn't know where you were at all when you were here. If you were in a place where there was no guiding factors, where do you go? What do you do?
I think I'm gonna stand where I am and just start calling out.
Hmm.
Hello? Is anybody there? They kind of
Loudly?
look in a circle. Yeah, a bit loudly.
Hmm. Hmm.
Probably progressively louder.
Wonderful. Uh, It sounds like someone striking metal underwater. That ding that kind of moves through the fog like a guest that's invited to stay over but is a little nervous to make noise in the morning. It just kind of dissipates through the spot. Uh, and you hear it from maybe the north and then another one from the south. But basically, you're left and right. Off timed, they're not going at the same moment. That's it. It's a fairly strange little dream. Do you call
I
again?
I am looking north and
Hmm.
south, and I am going to say, I don't know where you are. W How can I find you?
And you've said the perfect thing. You wake up to the sound of the town screaming about fire. In the back of your mind, where can I find you? Echoes out into the night and is held by hands that you do not yet understand. The town's waking up. Those who can. Everyone drank quite a bit last night. Thank you, Ed, for all the moonshine. With the doctor having woken up a little first, if you even just glanced out your window, you see people with buckets, some axes, all in pajamas or long johns, some in the clothes from the night before, running out in the direction of Ed's home, which is a good 20-minute walk, 25-minute walk. So it's not right next to town, but the sky is bright. Cam, the water that you've woken up on is not the river by Ed's, but it is the lake on the far other northeast side of town, which is in denser woods with more twisted vines, and it goes for hundreds of miles through the mountains behind you. You know the place because you're Cam and you do walk around, you do walk these woods, and this looks familiar now in a way where earlier was a little confusing. You're in the clothes you fell asleep in front of the church next to Ed. You don't have a gun or any of those types of your pack with you, but you'd assume they're either in town or at your home.
That's odd.
Is this your
Uh,
body?
I think I like wake up, I feel the water and it's like a
Mhm.
shocking cold. And I retch myself up so that I'm sitting and I grasp at myself and I do these are my hands, these are my arms, my legs. And it takes me a second before I kind of am back to
Mhm.
myself after the way that you wake up after falling, that sudden like jolt
Very
that
cool.
happens.
Mhm.
And it was just exacerbated by the cold, the real cold of being in water. Luckily not too deep in water, just enough that my back is on the shore and I'm just being caressed by the waves of the lake. And I scramble further onto shore to get out of the water, shivering a bit, and I look around. I assume I would see smoke.
The sky is dark, but with the light rising behind it, you can see the outline of it. But it does look dark and vague and kind of in a distance. You remember on top of the waterfall how crystal clear your eyes were. And now you can be certain this is you because your vision is all blurry once again.
Indeed.
You're about an hour from town.
I try to remember how I got here.
Mm-hmm. How's that go?
Not well, I
Damn.
imagine.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason for me to go an hour out of town, especially without Bullet. This isn't safe.
No.
I'm not stupid. I hunt in these woods. I know better than to go so far out on my own. And yet here I am. And
With no
that
dog and no gun.
with no dog, no gun, no pack, just the clothes on my back that I fell asleep next to Ed, but Ed isn't here. I know I drank the moonshine, but I didn't think I drank that much.
Yeah, you really didn't drink that much. It was more like this is to help me sleep than we're having a party.
I think this is the next day. I think I fell asleep next to Ed and I've woken up the next day. Because why would I think any differently?
And maybe that's what's happening. Maybe today's that dance. That's
Maybe today's that
exciting.
dance. I did promise Ed that we would go together. I did
Mm-hmm.
ask him to the dance. I should probably
Mm-hmm.
head back to town before anyone starts worrying about me. I should head back to town. I stand very shakily, kind of dust myself off, and I think I'm going to pick up a piece of driftwood
Mm-hmm.
and use it as kind of just a way to ground myself as I make my way through the woods back into town. I'll use it to push branches out of my way and make sure that I'm going in the right direction.
Wonderful. Before we leave you to your journey for a moment, if something whistles from the woods, does Cam whistle back?
Cam knows better than to whistle in the woods.
Yes, she does. We go back into town. Doctor, do you let these, mountain folk fight their own fire, or do you have something to contribute? Same with Miss Abilene. You both have the option to go volunteer or see what the issue is. You can also go back to sleep.
Um, right now, surprisingly, I'm in control right now. So, Charlie is booking it. Just like throwing on the boots they don't really recognize
Hmm.
and the jacket that's a little have time to think about that and time to be frustrated about that as they run to go see what's going on and help folks out if need be.
Wonderful. Miss Abilene, you're not as drunk as you were. I'd say with the amount of time that's passed, there's still a little bit of like you probably wouldn't want to drive home under the morning light of day yet. Uh, but you aren't falling over or beaten.
Yeah, I think I wake up on the floor next to my bed almost as if I fell asleep praying before I went to bed. And when I hear the sounds outside, I try to stand up, but my head is banging. Like
Hmm.
it sounds like someone took a cymbal and like smashed it right next to my ear. And
Hmm.
I'm going to sit back down on my bed for a minute and try to gather myself and slowly make my way outside and covering my eyes as I open the door because the noise is killing me right now.
Right on your door jamb, your threshold, you see a small red ball of yarn rolled up very nicely
I will grab it and then throw it behind me
into your house.
into my house. Like,
I mean, that's a good place
what
for
is
yarn.
this? I
Yeah,
can't deal with this right now.
that's perfect. That's wonderful. Um, so both of you emerging out of your homes at similar proximities. You both live to the southeast side of like the church hill and whatnot. Uh, are both of you following the commotion, or is anyone seeking other things during the commotion? It is still 4 a.m. Maybe.
I think Charlie's fell in the commotion. That's the focus
Mhm,
currently.
mhm.
Mhm.
Perfect. You can start jogging toward with the crowds out towards the giant orange flame light filling up the sky. What about you, Miss Abilene?
I am not following the commotion. I open the door. I see that the commotion is still quite far away from me, and
Mhm,
I just can't fathom moving right now. I
mhm.
think I'm going to close the door and go back to bed.
I think that is an amazing decision. Where did you throw the yarn, by the way, in your house?
There's not much space to throw it. I just tossed it behind me. Maybe
Mhm.
it rolled under my bed.
Perfect. Tuck in, stay safe. Let's go to the doctor. Doctor, it
Mm,
doesn't take you long to get out there. You run by what you assume would be Cam's home, from what you've heard on this path
Mm.
that leads out to the river. The door's open. You don't really see anything else. Do you stop? Do you keep going? Because you might not be positive it's Cam's house. I don't know how familiar you are.
Um, I think as I'm running by, I uh just kind of yell in the direction of the open door, just Miss Walker, and not hearing a response will kind of remember that there's supposed to be a dog, and not
Hmm.
hearing a dog, that's also cause for curiosity and concern, but also there's more pressing matters
Maybe
and
they're
like
already out
that.
there fighting the fire. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, that would make logical sense, probably.
Mhm.
Yeah, as you're running, Cam, you've made some time. You're moving forward. Maybe another like half hour or so till you can reach the town. You can smell smoke at this point in the air, just because the wind's just right. You're in this valley between the mountains. Um, how aware are you walking? Just let me know. How aware is Cam walking through these woods in the dark? Are you more worried with like, how did I get here? What the fuck's going on? Or are you being more cautious than that?
Huh.
You are a
I
hunter, so
mean,
I'd accept both answers just fine.
I am a hunter, but I'm
Mhm,
missing my hunting dog, which I rely on for a lot of that
mhm, mhm,
perception business. I think I'm aware enough of my surroundings that I'm, able to take myself in the right direction and maintain a clear path forward. I'm not getting lost in the woods,
mhm, mhm.
but I'm probably not used to having to be aware for myself.
Fair point. Would you notice tracks in the path you're on? Fairly heavy tracks too. Like they're not subtle.
If they disturb my path to the point where my foot sinks into a spot where this thing has tread, I would notice.
I'd say things plural would be a little more accurate. There's
Uh-huh.
not any of the tracks are overly large. It's just there's like a small grouping of them, as
Yeah.
though a group of half a dozen, 8 or so people walked straight across the trail you're on and walked into the bushes directly to the right. Maybe last couple hours. Just
I am a
you don't.
half hour away from town. It might be a little odd for other people to be out in this woods, especially a big group of them.
True.
Maybe there were some people from last night that just needed to go on a walk after the excitement of the collapsed church.
Probably an affair.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Hmm.
I don't think I'm too concerned with that. I might just keep walking
I think
forward.
that's a fine idea. It seems completely reasonable. I mean, maybe if you
Very
had a gun or
reasonable.
a dog, but you don't want to accidentally stumble into somebody's moonshine operation.
No, I already have one of those.
Yeah, and it looks like they had a goat with them too, probably
Oh,
carrying something. Yeah, you don't have that much time left. We'll actually make you get to the town fairly quick. Miss Albeline, you are sleeping again. You are in line once again, Miss Albeline. You are in a cloak in a line of people in cloaks, heading towards an opening in a rock, in a mountain, and stone, but you're facing a different direction. Where before you were facing west, this time you swear you're facing east. It doesn't look the same even. There's more rock than greenery around this side. But you're in line once again.
Am I around the same people? Am I in the same spot in line? Have I moved forward in line?
A similar spot, but different terrain. Like there's more of a turn to this line because of a tree that's right there, but a similar opening in front of you. Do you turn to look at the other folks you're with? Because you can't see anyone ahead. They're
Yeah, I do turn to look. I actually would like to look and see if I see Jesus.
Mhm. Yeah, you do not see Jesus this time. Everyone you can lock eyes with, regardless of how many they have, looks different behind you. The last group had this playful, almost fayness to them, like maybe a little chaotic, but not ill intent about their time with you. That is not what you feel in this line. The first figure behind you, average height, if it wasn't for the 3 foot neck that's thin with this small raisiny shaped woman's head and thin hair going all the way down. It almost hangs forward in front of her neck and like bobs at the end of the neck tension. Behind it, you see even stranger combinations of strange eyes that
I
glow at
turn
you in the
around.
dark.
I'm not looking anymore.
You hear giggling coming from the trees beside you, where in the other line they were bowing and celebrating. There's a different tone happening here.
I am frightened. I
Mhm,
don't I was just at a dance.
mhm.
I was just talking to Mrs. Bellflower. I don't know where I am or how I got here, and I've never seen people like this before.
Mhm. I mean, they have some strange diseases out in these rural areas, but you're pretty sure that one back there has a 3 foot tongue that just picked a bug off the ground.
I think I'm gonna not look at anyone, and just start walking out of the line and
Mhm.
as swiftly as possible.
The laughter can be described as demonic. In the frantic pace, the laughs almost jump on top of each other to build little voices being, but how will I find you? How will I find you? How? As you run through the woods away from this place. In a dream. It's all right. You're in a dream. Doctor, you've gotten past. Wait, no, you stopped at Cam's house. Did you keep going after? You kept going after her. The woods around Ed's home are ablaze. Maybe half an acre is already going. You see men with buckets, not men. That was unfair. There are all genders represented in this firefighting, even a couple of the non genders in town, taking buckets and throwing water up in this situation, trying to prevent it from spreading.
Yeah. Unless somebody stops me to put a bucket in my hands, I'm gonna actually kind of do a quick turnabout of Ed's space just to
Hmm.
get a feel for it real quick. To
Hmm.
it seems odd that this is specific. Um, and I'll even activate See the Unseen. I can automatically perceive creatures and objects that are normally invisible, insubstantial, or hidden via magic.
Fuck
And when looking
yeah.
for things more conventionally hidden, the task is eased, and it's just something I enable.
For free and easily, you notice Ed's wards. It's almost like you're
Okay.
stepping over lines of bright green moss under the ground. You can see them a little more sloppy than like the wards you would put in, but there's a weird sincerity to them that feels at home with the nature out here. Not far from his home, he has a stump. where Ed likes to leave things, and they're gone later, and he's never really questioned that. It's just almost paying your tithe to be where you are type of deal. Behind it, you see a strange figure, kind of hiding behind it a little, glowing as though it's been revealed to you, not to
Mm.
everyone else. Its knees go high past its ears as it like bends low and kind of accordion shapes. No ears, no hair, no eyebrows, a very smooth, round face with three eyes that are more cat like than person, and it's just hunched behind this stump watching everyone try to put out this fire, not doing anything aggressive or even afraid. They more just seem interested. They don't
I
see you
think
seeing them either.
I think I will just using inside voice, just activate that again. Um for the first time in a long time, uh at least in this fully being in my body. Um and I'll just very light on the wind um that it's just like that I've noticed them and also just like honored friend. What happened?
Two of the three eyes turn. The other watches its back because it's been alive for a very long time. It's hard to say the head tilts because there's no ears to really show the angle, but you can be sure it at least rotates. There's a pale greenness to it that almost catches a shimmer in the firelight, like it might be soft like moss or moist like a face freshly cried upon. And it looks at you with eyes that don't seem aggressive, seem startled. I'd say for sure. Easily, it's about 18 inches with 3 or 4 different joint twists to it, and it makes this strange, almost crooked wand shape, and where it points are some small bare footprints, the size of a child or a halfling or maybe someone as small as Mr. Bellflower, if he was, barefooted, but definitely a smaller no mouth.
Mm. Even it doesn't even communicate telepathically.
Do you have wards on yourself that would protect you from certain types of telepathic communications?
At least with inside voice, it allows
Mhm.
me to have contact with them. So they have
Beautiful.
access to me as well.
Could you roll me an intelligence roll? This is basically to see if you can withstand not an aggressive but a foreign presence
Mm,
in your thoughts. It doesn't communicate the way you do. And this isn't overly hard. You're just trying to make sure you don't roll under a 9, and you can edge
okay.
that or reduce it however you'd
Yeah,
like.
I'll take that down to a 6 with my edge and intellect. Um,
Perfect.
and I rolled a 4, so I'm just gonna throw an effort on there just to make sure it's a 3.
Beautiful. Um, uh, so you maintain consciousness. The voice you hear sounds more like wind going through a loose canopy, one that's been trimmed and kept spacious by natural fire, or a druid that loves it. Wind that has room to run without running into man. And it's not as though it uses words, as though it's painting pictures for you. And you see a small boy that you maybe recognize from around the town running up and like trying to start a fire. And then when it spreads woodland versus Ed's home, he gets frantic and starts trying to stomp it out before something grabs him and drags him into the wood.
Mm. How's seeing that how's the situation on the fire with the fire brigade
Oh,
currently?
it's pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like it won't get to town probably for like a long time if it even did try to get that far. But it's definitely not getting smaller.
Charlie's first concern would be of the child, so he's
Mhm.
gonna start running in the direction and maybe trying to follow tracks if there are any,
How long
into the
does See the
woods.
Unseen last?
Um, hmm.
Just from my own knowing.
I don't believe it says. It doesn't have a specified time.
Perfect. We'll say it lasts. It's still up.
Cool. West
Cam, you
Virginia.
have reached town, New Springs, West Virginia. The sun is so close to breaking through that distance. You can feel the birds are starting those little timid chirps, like just letting everyone know, hey, I'm coming. Um, you see a town a little disrupted. Like there's more lights on than you'd assume at this time. There's some people out and about. You even see a few carriages have parked in front of the inn tavern area, Live Deliciously. And it appears there's some people who have just arrived in town and they're hooting and hollering, and it's like 4:30 in the morning.
Uh, this is a lot. I think I'm going to follow the commotion. I'm in town now, so I see the fire.
Yes.
And I do know where Ed's house is very, very intimately. So
Definitely.
as I follow the kind of the flow of the crowd and my eye line follows where the smoke is coming from, I feel this sort of dread begin to pool up inside of my chest, and I think I would pass my house on the way there.
You definitely would.
I definitely would, and my door's open.
Would the doctor have closed it?
No, because they're assuming that Cam rushed out and left the door open and
Fair.
is. I didn't see Cam at the fire brigade, though, did I?
Oh no, you certainly did not. But yeah,
That's
your door is open, Cam.
yeah.
The doctor did not shut it.
Okay, my door being open also concerns me,
Mhm.
because that means Bullet might have gotten out. So
Mm.
I rush over to my house. I'm not going to be any help if I don't have my wits about me. I go into my house and I start looking around for Bullet. I probably start calling out for him.
And he doesn't show himself.
Boots and dry clothes and a jacket, things that I could, protect my skin and protect myself if I were to go firefighting for Ed. Um, Lord. Uh, I once I have my gun and once I have changed my clothes, I'm going to start making my way over to
Easy.
Ed's house.
Cinematically, we'll see Cam approaching as the doctor vanishes into the bushes. So they just miss each other. And then in like the top right corner, we just see Miss Abilene like just sleeping peacefully, hanging out in line with some fun folks. Well, running in the woods away from some fun folks. Cam, are you getting right into firefighting? Are you looking for Ed? How you see a line of about 12 to 15 folks. There's some getting water, some using shovels to like pat the smaller edges out and things like that. They are out tasked by the size of this.
Yeah, I'm looking for Ed. I also am aware, I think, that should the fire reach Ed's house, this could be problematic because I think there are some very flammable items in
Mhm,
Ed's
mhm.
house. I don't see them beating this fire. I think it's going to be one of those things that has to burn out on its own. We don't have the equipment here to deal with something like this, and there's no telling how this fire started. At least I can't tell just based on this.
Mhm.
Um, so I think I'm more interested in salvaging what I can of Ed's belongings that I know he cares about, like his fishing equipment and his rods and some things that I know he holds dear, even if he won't admit it. And I'm also looking for Bullet here because they're buddies.
You can take an experience point for that move with Adam's fishing poles. Doctor, you are running through these woods. Little golden hoof prints, like a ram or a sheep. They pop out of the soil in front of you as you're moving. If you were to cover your magic vision eye, you would see nothing and then gone again and it's back. Fresh, not far ahead of you, probably. Uh, how good at running are you, by the way? Because you look really nice when you're like mimicking it. So I imagine you're very
Um,
quick.
no. Adrian has not kept kept Charlie's body very healthy.
Hmm.
Charlie knows how to run, but is getting very winded very fast, unfortunately, just because Adrian, god damn it, does not run and
Do you
sits in
have
his
any
office.
skills for like trap detection, perception, not being surprised?
I do not believe so. Let me just double check here.
Hmm.
No,
That's fine. That's fine.
I don't
I'll just
think
make
so,
you do a
no.
standard defense roll for me, and you can
Mm-hmm.
use body or intellect. Um, but intellect will be to notice something, body will be to avoid something.
Hmm.
Intellect will be 12, body will be like 15.
That's a really good, interesting thing.
You're fine.
Okay. Yeah, it's fun. This is
Slice of
slice of
life.
life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd much rather notice something than I know how to best approach and or avoid it. So I'm
Hmm.
going to roll intellect. And you said it was 12?
12. And you can use edges and all that
Yeah, I'm
stuff. Yeah.
gonna down it by one with an edge.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so that just means I need to hit a 9 or higher. That's another 4 on a separate dice. That's really
You
funny.
could spend an experience to re-roll.
I will actually.
Mm,
Thank you for that reminder, GM.
yeah.
Now we are down to 2. Come on, just oh, that's a number lock. That's why. Okay.
We believe in you for right now.
Now, now that was cocked,
I
and you gotta
believe
honor the cock.
you.
That's a 17. There we go.
At the last moment, running down this trail. How's it when you run?
Normally I run like
Like
this,
that.
but
That's
not
yeah.
now. It's
That's what I wanted.
yeah.
You stop right in time where you see a line of hunting traps along the trails. Nobody followed up the earlier rumor that the trapping store had been broken into, but no money had been stolen, just a bunch of equipment. And you see a whole line of hunting traps across this trail that you were so close to stepping and tripping into. Probably would have landed on them face down if you hadn't have gotten that 17.
Yeah, I think it's like toes just touching, like just barely touching the teeth of like bear trap or something.
Mhm,
I feel
mhm.
like it's just like, whew, okay. That was close.
And you see the little magic prints have avoided the traps. It doesn't look like they stopped and set them or anything
Yeah.
like that.
I'm also just gonna find a stick from nearby,
Perfect.
just as I skirt a past and just kind of have it also for the spiders, but also just in case there's something in front of me that I don't see.
I'd love the dear readers to take note that two of the players have now grabbed sticks in this episode. Miss Abilene, do you want to dream of something light or dark? Like in the soul of Miss Abilene, like what does she need?
I think she needs light.
You see, of course, we all know who you're about to see. You see Mrs. Bellflower with you in the fog once again, with a like a white almost robe on, like a sash around the waist, looking angelic and pristine, and not surprised to see you.
I am breathing heavily and
Hmm.
I'm confused. I look at her and say, I don't know how I got here.
I think we're dreaming, actually. I mean, do I look like do I look like a dream to you? And she kind of strikes a pose.
I I I guess I would dream of you, but I was just with you.
Well, there's different ways of being with someone. And you hear the hit of on metal again ringing through the fog, the doom, doom, to the two different
I
directions.
don't know where that sound is coming from.
Maybe we should go see. And she goes to take your hand.
So I'll let her take my hand.
Left or right? Which one should we go to?
You choose. I'll follow you.
That's perfect. Don't get separated. If we do, try to whistle or something, because then I'll know how to find you.
I don't know how to whistle.
I'll teach you later. And you
Okay.
both begin walking to the north. Um, there is conversation available if you would want it, but there's this strange disconnect where it's like, oh, a dream. Everything's fine. Like there doesn't have a franticness to it. It almost feels a little insincere because of that. Um, I'd say since you know you're in a dream, you might be even wondering, are they a dream also, or are they actually dream sharing with me?
I'm actually just thinking, oh my gosh, I'm holding Mrs. Bellflower's hand.
And that's a great dream. Where do you think Miss Bellflower would take you in your dream?
Well, she's taking me to the sound.
Hmm.
Maybe back to the party.
Maybe it's a bell they're
Maybe I
ringing
left
for
the
a
party.
dance.
I think I remember freaking out at the party and leaving. So maybe she came to
Hmm.
get me to take me back to the party.
It does get foggy in West Virginia, so she might just be leading you somewhere safe and warm.
Yeah.
As she makes conversation, talking about your outfit at the party, how you looked like such a city girl on a bike. We don't hear the whistling or the yelling anymore. We just hear this little trail of laughter as we see the two of you stepping into the gray fog. Amazing. We're going to not speed up much, just a shift in time where the sun is beginning to reveal things. Fire at night is beautiful. Fire in the daytime almost seems rude, much more destructive without providing any light or inspiration from it. You see everyone's dirty and cut and burnt, and all the wonder of fighting, if there was any, of fighting this fire under the moonlight is now gone, and people are tired and getting worried and wondering if they should go closer to town and start doing fire cuts through the woods just to try to prevent it from spreading any further. Cam, if you've stayed during all this, you are just as dirty, just as worn out. But you did get all of Ed's things off to the side. And if you were going to just peace out at that.
Well, seeing as neither Ed nor Bullet are here, I think I would next go to Ed's moonshine hideout,
Hmm. Not,
where maybe he drank too much last night and went back. I the morning and the evening are so foggy for me that I have no idea what happened the night before.
yeah.
So maybe Ed ended up back there.
And it's not too far. He hit it kind of in the woods with your house and his house, almost like a triangle with it in one point, and then the town a few minutes down the road. Um, you do not see Ed there. You do see, what's the best way to put this? You do see Ellen laying unconscious on the ground, kind of right next to the logs where Ed likes to sit and things like that when he drinks.
Okay. Yeah, that would be problematic. um I think seeing Ellen's collapsed body,
It's so small.
so small, Cam would panic a bit.
Hmm.
I make my way over to her and I drop to my knees and I put my fingers to her neck to check for a pulse.
A strong and
Um,
steady one.
Strong and steady one.
Even the breath is very.
Do I smell any alcohol on that breath?
No, if she did have a nip the night before, it is worn off the breath by now.
Okay, I try to like kind of gently shake her awake.
Noises as though someone's deeply asleep, and
Okay. I I like start to put my arms under her, like under her shoulders and then under the crook of her knees to lift her up. And I'm going to take her back into town where I know there is a doctor to be. There's a doctor there. The doctor can take a look at my Nana Ellen. Um I still haven't found Ed. I still haven't found my dog. This is a
Mhm.
bad day. There was a fire. I found my surrogate mother collapsed on the ground where I drink moonshine with Ed. This is awful.
She looks
I need to
beautiful
take her to a
too.
doctor.
Rouge, she's wearing red. She always looked wonderful in red. You even see the sunflower blanket still kind of wrapped around her arm.
Sunflowers. Interesting. I don't pay much mind to that fact. Wrapped around her arm, you said?
It's the blanket she takes everywhere. So she usually has it across her lap in like her rocking chair, but it's almost like she was carrying it, maybe. But it's just wrapped once. So it's not like tied or anything like that. It could
Okay.
easily fall off if you wanted to leave it behind.
No, I don't want to do that. I'd probably secure it a little bit more in her lap where I'm holding her. And I carry her back to town, intent on taking her to the good doctor.
Wonderful. And our good doctor is deep in the woods, having just stopped himself from running over a trap. But then some time passed. The sun is up. Did you go through setting them all off and then keep going, or did you turn back?
It out of curiosity,
Hmm.
is it a circle? Is it like a circle of traps inside, like surrounding something?
Like a circle with a line through the middle of traps. So picture about 9 of them. And
Mm.
maybe there's about a larger circle of 6, and then 3 kind of in the middle. So this whole area has 2 paths at this trail, basically, that you would have to walk through traps.
Um, I think any of the nearby ones that I see, I will activate, but I'm not
Hmm.
gonna go. There's a child that has been dragged into the woods by something, so there is somewhat of a sense of urgency. So
Hmm.
I'm hitting all the ones that are nearby me, but there are some that are still active.
Are you fast on your feet? Um, that's fine. Looking forward down your clearing as you've kept moving, doing this very good run. You see far down the trail the on its hind leg shape of a gray and black goat that does like the jump up and the land again, kind of stomps around, stares at you, and then runs back down the trail.
Damn, fuck it. Okay, and just attempting to run after this goat because I saw hooves.
Hmm. Hmm. Little whispers from the woods as you go by. Like,
Mm.
look at them go! Look at them go! Look at them go! They're gonna do it! They're gonna do it! They're gonna do it! As you do, you say anything back? By the way, do you give them your
Mm-mm.
name?
Mm-mm.
Are you sure?
No,
Okay. You don't just
I
yell
ain't
out your
talking to
name for
them.
fun. All right.
No.
How will we find you? How will we find you? And as you go around this bend, you see on a beautifully laid out set of ferns the small shape of a local boy, asleep, head on his hands, a small, almost woven bark type blanket kind of set on him, like obvious on display, like here, come find him, they're right here type of feeling,
Mhm.
not in hiding, not in the deep bush or anything like that, just in the middle of a clearing.
This causes suspicion.
Why?
Um,
Why? What? Do you just not like children?
there's traps. There were traps before. This
That's
feels
yeah.
like a trap.
Mm-hmm.
So before entering the clearing, I'm just kind of looking at the periphery, just kind of like around where the trees stop before the clearing happens.
Mm-hmm.
Just hearing whispers behind me and just like trying to peer at everything. Um, and seeing the unseen again, just to help with that a bit if I can.
That only requires the edge, right? So you can just kind of
You
spam
just,
it. Yeah.
if I understand correctly,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
You
believe I'm
don't.
pretty sure that's how that one worked. Nothing pops up this time besides a bunch of the little golden, magical, glowing footprints, almost like making a pattern in the space, as though maybe they were getting some ferns, maybe they were getting a blanket, maybe they were getting dinner plates ready because delicious. It's hard to tell, but they obviously walked around in this.
I think my sense of direction out in these woods isn't the greatest right now,
No.
especially since I ran off in a random direction. Can do I have? I don't know where I'm at. Hmm. What would I think? I'm gonna walk just into the clearing and maybe
Mhm.
just sit and watch the child sleep, and also kind of do a very light inspection without trying to disturb him too
So
much.
from what you
Hmm.
could tell, you see a little bit of like soot on the hands, like maybe light burns, as though they were swatting at some sort of flame.
Mm.
But that would be the worst of it, and not even blister level, just a little red. You notice that he's wearing plot armor, so it's just his hands are just a little red.
I think I like kind of I'm in a sitting position cross-legged in front of like where his fate like if he's sleeping like
Hmm.
I'm facing him, and then I think I just wiggle into his mind for a second and just say, "Why did you?"
Wonderful. As you begin to see images of Ed tripping this boy in front of a funeral parade, not that many days back, we're gonna go back out to the end of Miss Abeline's dream as you're beginning to come out of the fog. In front of you, you see what looks like rock, mountain, stone, and beautiful, beautiful Miss Bellflower, with a face that makes you think of a country before a single fence was built. Just open, vast freedom of beauty, hands you a dark cloak and puts one over their own gobs. Here, it'll be a little cold in here.
Do have I ever been to this do I recognize this rock
You
other
do.
than
Do you want to know which one it is?
yeah, I
It's
do.
it would be more a reminder of the second line you stood in than the first. More stone than green.
I think I just walked away from here.
Oh, you always have to go through here to get back, though. You'll be fine. You're with
I
me.
don't think I walked through here to get here.
Hmm. She just smiles at you.
I
We can leave if you don't want to. That's fine. I just thought you'd like it.
I I don't
It
know if
was
this
dumb.
works.
It was a mistake. I'm sorry. I'm
I
sorry.
do
Let's go.
have yeah, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, let's just go.
Okay. I'm
Let's
gonna
walk
walk.
that way now. You do not see a cloak. Not holding it, not wearing it, not visible. Reaches out her hand and takes yours. You start walking the other direction.
I'm not gonna grab her hand. I feel
Oh,
weird now. I didn't like that rock. I just walked away from that rock.
her face cracks like it's a geode being shattered in two as the eyes go, but, and then you wake up in bed, the sun coming through your window. It is day. We're going to say that Cam carries Ellen into town. Uh, do you, and just to, for time efficiency, Doctor, if this boy woke up conscious, seemed like embarrassed, but more afraid he was in trouble than anything
Mm.
else, would you guide them back to town as well?
To the best of my ability, yes.
Yeah, well, maybe they'll guide you.
Yeah.
Um, So when we return from a break that I believe will take maybe 5 minutes earlier so than we normally do, we're gonna have all of you coming into town as the sun is rising. Miss Abilene awake in town already. You can choose to get out of bed if you want. It is Sunday. Wait, no, everyone's awake, I think.
Mm.
How many levels? Never mind. You're fine. You're fine. Oh, we are taking donations for hurricane relief, everybody watching. So if you donate, you will be entered into a drawing to win the Old Gods of Appalachia system. It's important to. I don't know why I started saying it's important. Either way, solidarity is important no matter this. The people that this game is about were greatly impacted by these events, so that's why we decided to do this, and the channel was right on board with it too. So if you donate, you'll win one. We're giving away one every episode, so there's another chance next week, so you can donate more than once. We are that good to you. I think we're actually going to take our break. I think I'm actually ready to have all of you come back in the daytime versus this juggling bit we've been doing. So, producer, if you hear me and are around, you can cut me off anytime. But if not, we're going to tell the story about the man with no skin.
Mm. Heard that one before.
Did you like it? Oh my goodness. Welcome back to our story of two players picking up sticks, but not three. Before we get going again, content warnings once again for anyone who joined us later than the beginning. Uh, this is slice of life horror, so there's a lot of potential for things to happen, but that doesn't mean they will. But our content warnings are unreliable narrator, that's me, fear, possible physical harm with potential light gore, implied harm to animals in the form of hunting or fishing, but no descriptions, death, death of a loved one, unwarned death of a character dying, one of these people on the screen possibly dying, suddenly, instantly in this game, possible violence, possible body horror, possible gore, maybe still dancing, definitely some fucking profanity and
Mm.
fire. I don't know if we should throw fire on there. Also, alcohol. There's alcohol in this game. I forgot to mention it before the dance, and then everyone got really drunk. So I'm going to make sure to say it this time. We might also have some moody sadnesses. So we might have a little bit of a cry. Todd, do you think we're gonna have a? Do you think you're gonna have a cry?
For you, maybe.
Does Cam cry?
I don't think Cam has cried since she was a little girl.
And as you arrive in the town holding Ellen, seeing the doctor come from another trail with a boy running with him, not having to carry him, and Miss Abilene, the town a little in shambles, some strange people hooting and hollering in front of the Live Deliciously, but you holding unconscious Ellen, does Cam cry then? Or
She
on the
doesn't
walk?
she doesn't she doesn't cry. She's
Hmm.
focused. She needs to get Ellen somewhere safe. That's her objective. She's not going to lose another mother um, in these damn woods. So she's focused on getting Ellen to the doctor. And as soon as she sees the doctor, Cam is crying out for said doctor. Uh, doctor,
Uh,
Adrian.
uh, oh, Miss Walker. Hi. How do I ask? Come with. Oh shit.
I
And that's the first time you've ever heard the doctor curse. Uh, and also, uh, underlying this voice that you haven't heard before since this moment, there are 2 to 3 other voices overlapping with theirs. Uh, and you just you hear them say, sorry, Ellen, let's go. And we'll just like start going to their office. Notice like knowing that the child is okay and will inform their parents, his parents at a later date of what happened, and
Hmm.
we'll,
Hmm.
yeah, run to my office.
I'm not sure Cam would have been like I'm not sure she would have been affronted by the cursing. This is like, oh, there's a lot going on. This is quite the situation. Uh, so that might not have surprised me, but this isn't the sound of your voice. I'm not going to say anything about that quite yet. You do still seem to know who I am and who Ellen is, and that you're a doctor, and that's kind of all I need you to be right now. So I follow you, and
Before we go into the office, Miss Abilene, if you were to see this, carrying Ellen in, rushing in, because you're almost neighbors with the clinic, would you follow out of interest, or would you have had something else about that you were going to be doing?
I I am concerned about what happens, Miss Yoko. And I would like
Hmm.
to call and I see Cam, and I've been wanting to talk to Cam for an entire day now. So I see them through my little window, and I'm going to pull myself together really quickly. And I notice the direction that they're walking in. So I will eventually make it there shortly.
Feel free to let me know when you arrive during the scene. As you two carry Ellen in, not hard to move, very so small and so frail this late in life. not nearly as speedy as they could walk in like a vision or a dream from many years back as you saw them approaching the town, Cam. You don't remember that now, unfortunately for you, but in your arms right now, they seem so weak. The breath is steady, but maybe a little shallow.
Um, let's get her on a table, and you just see like the frantic movement of a mind trying to get their body to move the way it used to. And like it's just not quite fast as it's used to. And so you do see like a couple shuffle steps as we're just trying I'm trying to move, but it's just not quite there.
Big party last night.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm sorry. We technically haven't met yet. Adrian is normally uh here. And as the word Adrian, you hear a fourth voice that says it in Adrian's accent, Adrian, as um yes, and just like you see Charlie recollect themselves for just a second, just stay back there for now. We need I need to be here right now. I need to
Cam,
be here
how
right
is
now.
watching this?
The look on my face is pretty true to form.
Mhm.
Um,
Have you ever met twins before?
I'm sure she has.
Circus or
Um,
something?
yeah, there's a traveling fair that comes through every so often. You know, they like to stop by in the little towns, provide some
Mhm.
entertainment. Um, Cam doesn't know what's going on.
I'm sorry. My name
She- Look, I don't. We can do this some other time. Can you please just check on him?
Yes. I am so sorry. By the way, name's Charlie. And you'll just see them going
I
about.
think right now Apple
Yeah,
knocks on the door.
that makes sense.
Clinic.
So
You could
yeah,
probably just enter.
I'm
Too.
gonna
I was
knock, but
I was gonna say, Miss
I'm then
Walker, do you
also
mind
gonna
grabbing
just
that?
enter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Miss Abilene.
Cam, where
Oh,
have you been? Kadrian,
Miss
what is going on? What happened to Mrs. Yoko?
Miss Wolf. Okay. That's a lot of people to juggle right now. Okay. Um, the name's
Do you have
Charlie.
anything for a headache?
Uh, no. Do you have a headache? Do you have a
Yeah.
cure? Do you need? I will be right back. And you just see them like what? Like I think you guys are in like the main hallway of their kind of like apartment house slash office, and you're just kind of like in the entryway living room area as I like close the office to my door with Yoko inside as I go to like one collect myself, two grab the like Alka Seltzer basically that I have for Miss Wolf and allow you two to talk for a moment while I do that.
Cam, are you okay? Where have you been?
I'm fine. I guess I must have slept walked last night. Where's Ed? I haven't found him.
Ed and Miss Yoko left the party last night kind of early. I imagined that they would be together. Where did you find her?
Hold on. Party? What party?
The dance. You missed it. Everyone was looking for you.
What are you talking about? The dance is tonight.
As I
No.
open the door with my Alka Seltzer, like it's just a cup of water with some like fuzzy bubbles that I've like kind of like you'll see a powder that I like kind of dump in. This should help. Usually does. Drink it slow. Kind of like
Adrian,
swish it around.
Carly, the
Yes, Charlie.
dance. It was the dance is tomorrow, tonight, isn't it?
No, that happened last night. I wasn't around, but yeah, I saw it kind of. Miss Yoko seems to be okay right now, but it might not be a bad idea to get her back into her own bed, into her own home where she's comfortable.
Maybe just
Um,
in her chair is probably the most comfortable place.
yeah. I'm going to be completely frank with you. I can't pick her up.
I'll pick her up. That's fine. What do you mean the dance was last night?
You've been gone.
You
You've been
yeah,
gone for a night and
a
a day and a half.
yeah. We
We couldn't
we
find you at
thought
all
maybe
yesterday.
yeah, we thought maybe you were with just out, but then you didn't show up to the dance. But also, I wasn't really Adrian wasn't really focused on that, but I was kind of concerned because I didn't know where you went, but um yeah, I don't know.
I will require some sort of roll for an inspection of Miss Ellen.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you want to do medicine or something a little more spicy?
I think I'll just medicine. That makes the
Mm-hmm.
most sense in this instance.
That'll have a different target than the spice. So we'll say, with you being a doctor, that will give an element of ease already to it. So we'll say a 9.
I'm also trained in medicine, so that'll bump it down to a 6. And
Mm-hmm.
with my edge and intellect, that'll just bump it down to a 3.
Oh,
So 3 or
wow.
higher. That's a 16.
Physically, with medicine, she appears to be in a very deep sleep. You've heard of
Mm,
long, extended medical sleeps, coma, things of that sort.
mhm.
But there doesn't appear to be any danger to her health. Heart sounds good. The breathing, at least, is steady.
Okay. Yeah, then my assessment from my previous assessment is the
Mhm.
same then. And um, I think I'm not exactly sure why, but she seems to be in a comatose state. I have a feeling that her mind is usually when that happens, it means your mind needs to heal a little bit. I don't know. It doesn't look like she got hit in the head or anything, like she may have fallen. Where'd you find her?
I found her by Ed's moonshine hideout.
Huh.
Was there a lot
And
of
no
smoke
Ed.
over there?
No, I don't think so. It's kind of between me and Ed's houses. Uh this is so strange. Haven't either of you seen my dog?
No. Well, I thought you went No, I'm sorry. I passed by your house, but I thought you were at the fire brigade. Didn't see you there. But then um I think I know what happened or what caused the fire, but I'm fairly certain what caused the fire, but I don't know why he was I'm
Why
sorry.
he who?
Um the little boy that I walked into town with. I found him in a really weird spot in the woods. Um, just sleeping, like not a care in the world, but there was something that touched him. Um, Not in a bad way. Sorry, that
Which little
was
boy was
phrasing.
it? I know all the kids in this town.
It was the
I'm looking for their name currently.
and also Charlie. I don't think has actually heard or has thought to memorize this name. Um, because they're not usually hearing or seeing from this perspective. Um, I think it was he he was tripped. Ed tripped him. It was that kid. I don't know. Sorry, it names don't stick as easily for me, unfortunately. Also, Adrian usually kind of
But
keeps track of
you're the
that sort of stuff.
doctor. I thought you would know all your patients' names.
I I am a doctor, but also um I don't know if I'm ready. Let's maybe get Miss Yoko settled. We can have some tea. I can brew some tea and I can tell you kind of what happened while I'm able to. Cuz I can definitely feel some pushing.
You hear some laughing and hollering outside a little bit. That group of people at that wagons in front of the Live Deliciously. You hear like the bottle of glass break as someone accidentally drops some liquor and everyone laughs around it. They don't appear to be locals if you glance out the window.
And who the
Um,
hell are those people?
and then smoke behind them filling up the sky.
Well, the bellflowers are weird. Um
Bellflowers.
The bellflowers have been nothing but kind.
You don't remember much of last night, do you?
I do not have to answer any questions that you ask me.
Cam is like
I-
looking between the two of you, like, oh, something definitely went down last night.
You don't have to feel obligated to. I understand that you don't trust Adrian, and that's fair. You shouldn't. First of all, don't
You-
trust.
I'm
I'm
you
not
just told me
Adrian.
yesterday that your name is Cadrian.
Cadrian?
No, their name's Adrian.
It was because of the initials on your book. Miss Abilene called you Cadian after that.
They mentioned okay, and like I think seeing the disheveled office in the notebook that's visible, that's my notebook. I'm Charlie Alberdine. Adrian. Okay, I'm sorry. I need to stop before I get into a full ramble. We need to get Miss Yoka safe. We probably should check out with what the locals are going on about, but also if you do want to know, I can tell you, but it's also complicated. Let's
Cam,
get
Cam, are you awake right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't wondering if I was awake until you asked.
It's just a very strange situation, so I didn't know if there was going to be any like, is this happening?
I mean, it's all very unbelievable. I'm reeling from the fact that I apparently have lost an entire day and I don't know where I was or what I was doing. And I don't know where my dog is. I just start picking up Ellen, I think. I'm just picking up Ellen.
Easy to do.
let's get her inside. I think obviously her chair is the most comfortable place, but let's get her chair inside as well. Just not in temperate environments right now.
So the
We know she's most comfortable in her rocker. That's where she sleeps most times, even. And so I'm recommending her like indoor rocker that she probably has like all of her padding and nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
Cam would know her home and be familiar with it for sure. Are all of you going? Because Cam can very easily carry Ellen home.
I'm making them tell me about the bell, flower, lily, whatever.
Yeah, walk and talk
while we're walking.
Yeah,
walk
walk and talk.
Keep an eye on Ellen, Cam. You don't want to lose another one.
Yes. So the bellflower showed up yesterday. Entranced everybody. I don't know why. I mean, she is pretty. I get it. But also there's a darkness there that I don't quite understand. Well, you were to be fair, she did get you very drunk, but also
Ed got me
he was
very
entrancing.
drunk.
Ed gets everybody
You were keeping
very
pace
drunk.
with Miss Bellflower, if we're going to be honest about what happened.
I wanted her to like me.
Sure, that's
But Ed
fine.
kept filling up my cup.
Peer pressure.
Ed, yeah, Ed's kind of like that.
As you all pass by the middle of town going to Ellen's, you see again in front of the Live Deliciously 2 or 3 of these carts. You know, this era's version of a ruffian hipster outside drinking, smoking, sharp beards and almost strange piercings you don't normally see on folks of the time. Circus folk, maybe that's a little bit of a style, but you also see Mr. and Mrs. Bellflower right there with them, hooting and hollering and telling jokes and having a little midday nip. But you can keep going to Ellen's.
As we continue on our way, I just kind of like gesture towards I'm assuming the only like beautiful woman in that crowd, along next to her, like her
That'd
husband.
be fair. That would be fair. Yeah.
And I just kind of like gesture towards the woman because that's whom is the most identifiable in most moments. the bellflowers as we
After
walk
we
to
pass
Ellen's.
by them a few yards or so, I am gonna glance back. Just putting that out there.
There'll be a little wave and a smile, um, and kind of like a shrug, like my head hurts a little this morning from Miss Bellflower, but nothing sinister. She seems in the throes of some wonderful mood with her companions. But it's not hard to get to Ellen's. The door is unlocked.
Yeah, I just wait for someone to open it for me.
Yeah, oh, I got you. And yeah, so the bellflower showed up last night. The dance happened. I had some business and I came back and Miss Wolf was very drunk, almost incapacitated if I'm being honest. It was bad. I felt the need to get you some water. Adrian has their own thoughts about that, but and we chatted. That was the extent of the night, but I don't know what happened
No,
with Ed. And
no. I
yeah.
remember there was no chatting. You guys just had a staring contest. And I remember because it made me sick.
It did.
Ellen puts Cam puts Ellen in the chair, like looking at these two. Just like
Like
puts the
20 minutes
blanket
just
over her
like
leg.
gazing into each other's eyes, throwing your hands
You
in the air.
you would have to find an inside chair because Ellen's rocking
Yes.
chair is at the dance.
Yes, it's a nice, cozy
Mhm.
inside rocking chair. This is where Ellen would often read bedtime stories to Cam, by the light of the fireplace. So it's
Mhm.
a very cozy spot, very comfortable blankets. She's not gonna
Mi-
slip out.
She will definitely not slip out. You see scattered sunflowers in the decor. Miss Abilene, as you remember the doctor and Miss Bellflower just staring at each other and moving their hands a little intensely, how much of it is clear and how much of it is dream haze, hungover haze?
It's pretty fucking hazy.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
did we
Like
talked.
there's a lot
We
of
talked.
darkness and then just little flashes of them staring at each other.
What's the tone of those flashes? Is it romantic? Is it
No,
adversarial?
intense.
She's so beautiful.
She is.
Were you jealous?
I was a little bit annoyed that Cadrian came over, threw water on me, and then ruined my fun time with Miss Bellflower.
A lot of people competing for her attentions, it seems.
It didn't seem that way to me. She was only paying attention to me.
She really was. Oh, who did she
Until
wave
things
to
were going
today?
wrong. Hmm?
And who did she wave to today? In your whole group.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hopefully she'll know how to find you if she should need anything. Uh, Cam, are you comfortable to the point where you're like, oh, I know this home. You can sit here in the living room. We can talk. I can make tea. Or is it like, let's get out of Ellen's space? Or is it you all need to get out of Ellen's space?
I think it's probably the first option. Cam is very at home here because this was/is her home. For a long time, at least it was. And is she's nervous. She doesn't know where Ed is. She doesn't know where Bullet is. She doesn't particularly want to leave the leave Ellen's side. And these two seem to at least know something that's going on in this town. The doctor still has to explain their theory about the fire. So I think Cam's going to like gesture for them to take a seat on the couch. Nice little, very, very clearly like handmade, like seating. It's very basic couch. and she's gonna sit in a chair kind of facing them and just be like, okay, what
Dr. Miss
happened?
Abilene,
Mm.
if you versus us role playing out like a 2 hour conversation, what is something you would like to make sure you convey over this conversation? It can be more than one point, but when it comes to the fire, your split personality, the bellflowers on Miss Abeline's side, the strange situation with magics and eggs filled with sand, like, what would you like your conversation to revolve around during a few hours?
Um, I think the main thing that Charlie wants to get out while they have control currently is the situation with them. So it just backstory, basically.
Hmm.
Um, and also like reiterate when Miss Abilene kicks in with the bellflowers about them being totally fine and not weird at all. Be like, no, they're touched by something dark. I don't know what that is. And like slipping through every once in a while, even while I'm explaining my history and my story, you definitely hear the British accent of Adrian slipping through every once in a while. As to give you the gist is I was sent not too far to help excise a spirit, strong, powerful force. That's something I also did. I can we know like magic, right? That's a thing. You guys understand that or no?
Are you telling them you're possessed?
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
I do have some. So Adrian,
Miss
they
Abilene,
are
you'll get yours too. Yeah, don't worry.
yeah. Adrian is bad, but not too bad because they're in me at least. They can't
Ha.
do as much. They're
Mhm.
stuck. Um, I have been when I've gotten the time to be here, trying to excise them from my body and just excise them, but now there's more pressing issues. So when they do get back into this body, you're going to need to they know what's been going on. They're not going to be super stoked on what I'm telling you. So just kind of be aware of that. I apologize. There's not much I can do. I can kind of try and get them to pull back, but there's not much. They're very strong, as you can see.
Miss
They
Abilene, does the news that the doctor is possessed surprise you at all with what you've already seen in the midst of this conversation?
No.
I, and over in between, mixed in with this, what would be Miss Abilene's main moral from what they would like to convey? Also,
I am sitting there politely with my hands crossed on my lap, listening to Charlie. I'm gonna let them finish.
hmm
Are you finished?
yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
when a teacher asks you if you're finished.
After all of that rambling,
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have hours worth of things to say. That person is a witch.
Which is very subjective. Even I mean, I kind of poked in a little bit yesterday when we talked. Like I said, there is some science to it. I am still a doctor. I am a person of science, but there I mean, I was able to freaking pinpoint where some shit was about to go down. We obviously didn't know that at the time, but the fucking church collapsed. And
Exactly. A
also
witch
now
rolls
there's
into
some fucking
town. The church
I've been here.
collapsed. Ed
I've
goes
fucking
missing.
been here for a minute though. I've been here. Adrian has been here for a minute, but Adrian also doesn't do magic well.
Miss Cam, and then we'll if Miss Abilene had anything else to convey besides that one is a witch. Cam, I see you. Hi. What do you have to say?
Okay.
The world's on fire, and we are getting so micro in this home.
Okay. All right. So you're possessed.
To an
And
extent.
you're possessed. And you think that they're a witch. All right. Yeah.
I witnessed them do witchcraft in my schoolhouse.
Well, welcome to Appalachia.
I'm new to New
Lots of
Spring.
things are
I'm
witchcraft
happy.
around here.
What have-
Yes, Cam.
This if you are adept at magic, as you say you are, can you help us find Ed and my dog?
I can certainly try.
I'll take that. I don't care if you are a witch or not. If you help me, you're good in my book, and you helped my mom, so that's great. Miss Abilene, are you gonna be all right?
I'm actually really good at navigating and exploring, and I could probably also help find Ed and your dog, which I would love to.
Amazing. You can stay. You said you wanted to talk to me earlier. Was it just to tell me about
Yes,
the witch?
yes. I wanted to talk to you yesterday to thank you for saving my life.
Oh.
And I have a gift for you, actually.
Oh.
And Abilene is going to pull out her travel pack, which she did bring with her, and she did find that yarn and she did shove that into her travel pack.
She did. We all saw.
And I pull out the compass and I hand it over to you, Cambry, and say, the other night I was just tired. I didn't mean to not let you have this, but you need it way more than I do. And I do want you to have it as a thank you for jumping down into that hole and rescuing me.
I mean, if you insist, it would be quite
Yes.
impolite of me to reject this gift. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll take the compass, and I'll put it in my pants. So now I have the compass.
Is there any sort of etching or design or engraving on said compass?
Cam wouldn't be able to read it or see it, so no, never mind to me.
Miss Abilene, if the doctor was going to start becoming a stiff as a feather, light as a feather, stiff as a board situation right here, would Miss Abilene flee in holy gracious dislike, or would you help? The band of three and all that.
I would help.
Amazing.
They're possessed and they're
What?
possessed, and they need help from
They do.
above. I am probably the only person in this circle who can do that for them. So I'm going to stick with them just in case they allow me to.
Doctor, paint me a picture of this ritual of trying to find a dog. Or Ed, if you choose Ed.
I think what I'm actually gonna do is I have a feather that I found last night, actually. And I think what I'd like to do is what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna go outside, kind of onto Miss Yoko's porch, and I'm actually fucking forgot the salt again. Sorry. And we'll run into Yoko's house really quick and grab salt. I'm gonna place the feather in this salt circle that I'm also it's pretty small, but it's big, that I can fit inside of.
Quick question. Have you done any sort of magical scoping to try to ascertain what this feather may do?
I have not.
Perfect.
This
That's
is
fine.
in my head, it's a time of the essence type thing. Also because the dog's been missing for more than a day, and that's genuinely cause for concern. And no, I don't have any of that. Do you happen to have actually? Before I enter the circle, I'm going to grab some dog hair off of Cambry's shirts, and also Nobody would have anything of Ed's, would they?
Actually, I do.
Hmm.
Went into his house before
You easily have
because
something.
of the
Yeah.
fire. I have
I
many
was gonna
things of
say,
Ed's.
hair's easiest, but if you have something of sentimental value, that'll also work. But like touching, them is usually easier.
Do you have any of Ed's fingernails or anything?
I'll tell you what I do have is some fishing tackle that Ed has used his own hair to
Mm-hmm.
tie.
Mm-hmm.
And
Perfect.
so I do have that.
Yeah. So you watch as Charlie, having gotten all of these materials, steps into this currently broken salt circle that they then finish. Uh, place it like has like a little pocket knife that they prick their finger, plate like drip a little bit of their blood onto the feather,
Ooh,
and
blood magic.
tying the uh string and the dog hair to the feather. And my intention
Mm-hmm.
is to, with the feather, track these two. It's gonna, I know it's gonna be a little difficult because it's two separate people, but this is
Mm-hmm.
the intention. And so I just and focus on that for a few minutes, holding it in my hand as I blow the feather off my hand and break the circle.
The feather of last goodbyes has many uses for different things. Uh, am going to say that your ritual does harness the magic within the item, though this is not its applicable purpose. So, though you do steal some of that force, it still releases a different force. Um, how close are all of you to this besides the doctor? Oh no,
Cam, you're currently
you
muted.
struck Cam quiet. The dark magic is spreading.
Cam's pretty close. She's like outside of the circle, obviously, but
Mhm,
like
mhm.
arms crossed over her chest, observing very intently.
Within like 10, 15 feet, probably.
Oh, within 10, 15 feet, absolutely.
Miss
I'm
Abilene.
at the same place. I'm probably right next to Cam.
Wonderful. If I could get a might roll from everyone. For Miss Abilene and Cam, you're trying to hit 12. The doctor's trying to hit 15.
Yeah, sure.
And you have
Great.
edges and those things.
Yeah, I haven't. So what am I trying to hit?
12, if you have an edge, it takes it down to 9.
Thank you. I can't do math.
There's
I'm not a
efforts
STEM
and stuff
major.
too.
I rolled a 13.
That is a 12 from me.
I'm
Mhm.
looking into possibly doing some effort because I don't have an edge in my, and 15's really high for me to roll.
Yeah, you're real
Um,
close.
Pretty high.
so remind me, great and benevolent GM, how many do I have to pull from my pool to
Do an
when I
effort.
have 2 efforts? So it's 3 for the first pull, and then it goes down to 1 after that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spend. I'm gonna spend 5 of my 10,
Amazing.
to drop that down by 3. Right. So 3 for the first one
Yes,
knocks it
and then
down
3 for
to a
yep,
12.
and then
And
another 3
then,
for 9.
well, if you have more than one effort, it doesn't cost you more than just
That's true.
one. So I'm knocking it down from 15 to, so it'd be 15, 12, 9,
6 would be the next one.
6.
That's
Brain,
doable.
brain, no,
Well, if you
that's
spend 5, yeah, I mean, yeah.
yeah. Math is hard. I'm a
Cipher
doctor.
system's a little weird too. Just a it's a
Yeah,
little
math in
weird.
threes is a little difficult.
I'm not a
That's a
STEM major.
19.
Amazing. All of you are able to resist this massive gust of wind that comes out of this feather that would blow each of you 10, 15 feet back. A few of the small building structures you see take wind damage real quickly that are in the vicinity, having been
Salt circle
struck.
dissipates.
And about a third of the feather's bristles burn up, but still has about 2/3 of it left. But you do see with what you've done with the salt and the feather, I'm going to say it also piggybacks on your magic sight that you've been just like microdosing your whole life.
Mhm.
You see, it's almost like a pollen trail of dark, maybe dog fur type of texture in the air, just swirling in front of you, leading out into the wood. You're the only one who sees it.
Yeah. Okay. That was weird. I didn't expect that to happen, but sometimes weird stuff happens along with what I'm trying to do, but
Uh-huh.
Charlie never
Did it
identifies
work?
any cipher. It did. Follow me. Might want to do like a train buddy system just because it is the woods. You have your rifle, right?
Yeah, I have my rifle.
Perfect. Thank you.
You see
Um,
Do
Miss
either of you have a
Bellflower
flashlight?
walk up to your circle as you
Miss
are in front of the
Bellflower.
home in the street a little bit. I was just looking for Miss Abilene. I saw you all come over here. So, what is this?
Uh, I think the
None of
feathers
your
fully
concern.
dissipated the salt. I feel like that just the gust fully wiped it away in the process.
She looks at
Oh, we
Cam a
were
little
just
hurt by that. Also,
oh, it is lovely to see you, Miss Bellflower. How are you this fine evening? I saw you guys
oh,
taking a nip over at
I have a
the
little
delicious.
headache. You know, hair of the dog. I was just seeing if Miss Abilene wanted to take an afternoon horse ride with me.
That is
Oh,
a question for Miss
I
Abilene.
would I would love to maybe take an evening horse ride with you, but I have to do something right now.
All right, I understand.
If
Well,
you want to meet me later at my house is kind of small. If you want to meet me later at the inn at the bar we were at last night, I would love to
Mhm.
meet you there.
That sounds wild. Do y'all need any help?
No.
And like you kind of see Charlie's like kind of like looking off into the distance. I don't think so. There's magic in threes, right? Wouldn't want to break that.
Magic. You're wild. All right. Well, you all have fun. I'll see you later, Miss Abilene. Uh,
I
nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Kind of waves at Cam a little awkwardly, um, for looking beautiful as they walk off into the town.
This is what I was talking about. She's like okay, but like she's very pretty.
she's so nice. She wants to go horseback riding.
There's a
Sam?
she will
Cam. Cam seems off put by something about her, but she can't quite place what it is.
yeah, we need to
Jealousy.
go.
Yeah, we need to go. We have other things to concern ourselves with.
And the trail leads out into the woods, a little up the plateau versus towards the river, towards the lake where Cam was earlier. There's a very large plateau to the north by the mines that leads all the way up to like the waterfall, but it's a pretty long arc. That's just the uplands of the woods, basically.
Yeah, it's just kind of going this way. I can only see it. I apologize, but
Cam, by the
yeah,
direction, you would be able to tell that it is the elevated path, more like a hill than a mountain, but
Mhm.
it's not a valley angle that they're pointing at.
All right. I think Cam has the rifle kind of just in her hands, just kind of pointing down, not aiming at anything, obviously, and is just following very closely behind Charlie, kind
yeah.
of
I
keeping
think
an
like
eye
it's set up
around.
like kind of a train situation. Like is happy to
Hmm.
have your hand on their shoulder and just kind of keeping everybody secure. Also,
Hmm.
just kind of needs that a little bit too. Yeah. Is there anything else I can tell you while I'm here?
Feel free to do a walk and talk for a little while, for
Is
sure.
there anything you guys want to know about also like Adrian that isn't going to be blatant lies? Because they are something. They didn't touch you, right? And you see like some immediate concern about that, right? No one.
What do you mean by touch?
What does a doctor mean by touch? As they have inspected most of the town.
I mean deliberate, like not examination type situations.
Magic?
Magic. They
No.
we because they share my body. Um, we have an ability that allows us to alter memories. That's also why I was kind of concerned. It would have been really powerful. We don't usually can do more than like 5 minutes or so, but that's why I wanted to know if Adrian touched you, Cam, because
Would
I
Cam
don't know
remember
that was
if
the
their
case.
That's what
memories had been
Cam
altered?
was about to ask. How would I even know?
Because I do have See the Unseen still up as we're following the dog trail. Would I notice my own magic on someone?
I'll break all canon to say yes.
I
And
was gonna say, I feel like yeah.
and you don't notice it. It's almost like wards. You can feel another magical force that's been enacted. You see a small little red magic glow tinge on Miss Abeline's temple.
Oh, yeah, she did touch you. She touched me last night too. I don't love that, but my ward's pretty strong. Are you okay, Miss Wolf? I also stole your voice for just a moment.
Who touched you?
Uh Miss Bellflower. There was during that conversation, she just
Drama.
there was nothing behind it, but she touched you, and if you'll allow me, we'll just kind of touch the same spot that I'm able
Wait,
to see.
you're not supposed to touch me. You just told Cam not to let you touch her.
I'm not gonna. You would know, and also Cam is here. I'm not doing any magic. It's kind of overt when magic is being done to someone. I mean, you saw the whole like divination thing, right? That's not good. Fuck. How far away is the dog hair dust ball currently?
It's more like a
Okay,
ribbon, a line. As you all are walking through the woods, just with the doctor talking about themselves out loud, on shoulders, where just a few days ago, Cam would have probably walked just at a normal gait through this space. You have now this like human centipede, but not that way, as you're creeping through. But you're heading up. It'd probably be a half hour till you'd reach the top of the plateau, but it seems to be that's where it's heading. Are you calling? Are you searching? Or is this just a following?
I think that's a question for Cam.
That's fine. Like, would you whistle?
I would not whistle. I think I'd wait until we got closer before I started calling out for Bullet. So I guess when I get the go ahead from the doctor.
I'll say the doctor's magic dissipates once you reach the top of the plateau in a way where it kind of settles like this was the last place it would lead to. You do see Bullet's footprints in the mud near the riverbank where it's like thinner and not as deep and things like that. Miss Abilene, I don't know if you've been here since you moved here, actually. I don't know if the doctor has either. There's not a lot of reason to come up here. The top of the waterfall. You tell me.
I don't think I would. Adrian wouldn't have done the hike.
Miss Abilene?
I have not come up here yet.
Cam's been up here hundreds of times. Growing up, this is one of the best views in the valley.
Yes, it is.
Do you have any
feel
memories
any kind of way about it.
about being brought here when you were younger, Cam?
Of course I do. I grew up just an hour away from the waterfall. My mother used to bring me here to play in the waters while she would. Well, I never really knew what she was doing, but she seemed to be at peace and very content to let me do whatever I wanted while she did whatever it is that she was doing with the twigs and the rocks. And it didn't matter much to a child.
Does it matter now?
Looking back on it now, I wish I understood what she had been doing. Maybe then I would have felt like I had known her more than I do now. She's more like a concept than anything else, a concept that I'm trying to keep hold of.
Mhm. Wonderful. We see cinematically Cam's face sort of have a calm or a nostalgic wave over it as they look over once you come to where it opens up and you're not on the trails anymore. The doctor and Miss Abilene probably a little stunned by the view. About 30 yards in one direction, the waterfall, and then beyond it, you can see the town. To the other direction, a small trickle of a river that goes up into the mountains. It's beautiful and green with sand so fine, maybe it could come into a chicken egg. It's just beautiful here. Um, how do you look for a dog? Are you just calling? I mean, that seems like a pretty
Yeah.
normal way to do it, right?
Here, Bullet. Here, boy.
Bullet,
Here, boy. Come here.
Bullet. Come on, buddy.
Who's a good boy?
You hear in the underbrush something moving. It could be a fox, raccoon, startled. Nothing emerges as you're kind of on the riverbank looking into the green.
You said
You're
that there were
sure
dog
it's here?
footprints.
This is
Can,
where
are,
it stopped. Sorry,
Hmm.
Miss
oh,
Wolf.
right.
This
Well,
is
you
where
said
this
that we
trip
saw
stopped.
dog footprints. So do they lead anywhere?
In and out of the water, like kind of running around, into the green, out of the green, another path back into the green, all seem very fresh. Like some of them have a little bit of the creek water that bleeds up through the sand, like still in them. You'd assume minutes. None of them lead to the edge of the waterfall.
Okay, can I follow the footprints?
Sure.
I would like to
Yeah.
follow the footprints.
Back into the wood.
Yes.
That's fine. We see as everyone's calling, Cam remembers some things. Miss Abilene maybe just strolls up to the wood, looking at where the prints lead, and looking inward. It is passable. It's dense, but it is passable. Cam and the doctor are a little a ways from there, calling out. There's also hoof prints here. Um, None of them lead to the edge of the waterfall. So don't worry about that.
They, I think that was the something that I was following earlier when I found the kiddo. Did we ever? What's his name? I don't know. Like I said, I'm sorry with names, but I don't know if I ever
We're gonna go with Jonathan.
Jonathan. I think it
Yeah.
was Jonathan.
I'm hoping.
Jonathan sounds right. When little John, I found him sleeping, and I was following these hooves. But does anything like how wide is this river? Out of curiosity.
Physically?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, not it's not crazy wide at the top, but down at the bottom, it's a little thicker where it has room to deepen and whatnot. Maybe about 15, 20 yards, but doesn't get deeper than thigh level or so. Like a dog could get through it before the water would push him further down. Like it's not that rushing of a current.
I was also we probably can't see very well considering how wide it is, but do we see any tracks on that side of the river as well, or just plain?
You see them on the side you entered and the side coming out. And Miss Abilene is more on the other side of where it curves and they go into the green. So you would all have to pass through the river to get to the forest it leads to, if that's what you want to do. There's always upriver. There's I don't know. It's not my dog. Cam, is Bullet well behaved? Do they tend to come fairly quickly?
Quickly is, I think, a state of mind. You know, who's to say what quickly means to each of us, but they certainly come back.
They always
more
have,
of-
haven't they?
It's more of a I don't think I notice so much how quickly it's coming back, but how hard it's hitting.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Being up here.
Being up here, being without Bullet, being unbalanced.
Hoping Ellen's still alive.
She's still. I left her still alive.
That's
Last
She's
true.
time I
still
saw her,
alive.
she was still alive.
That'll be the second
She's
time you can
fine.
say that.
Last time I saw her, she was still alive. And I have nothing to tell me otherwise. So I'm just gonna hold on to that fact. The doctor would have told me if there was something wrong.
Miss
And if-
Abilene, do you hike up your long skirt to walk through this river to go where the tracks lead into the green? It's not a dangerous water, even by simple appearances.
I think I would.
Mhm.
I think I would see the tracks and I would want to follow them.
Is
I
it a little
certainly wouldn't let
fun?
you go by yourself.
It's not fun.
I didn't
It's
know if it,
important.
suddenly being outside for the first time, city girl, like if this was a like take off
I'm not a
shoes
city
and
girl. I'm from
you
Alderburgh,
told
Pennsylvania.
you lied to
Oh.
Miss Bellflower?
No.
You began a love under false pretenses?
That's not what happened.
Oh, we found you.
Wow.
Not what happened.
So are all of you gonna wander through this water to go out into the wood to try to find this dog? Is that what's happening? Do you have a looking glass on you, Cam? Because you're quite high up also.
I don't have a looking glass. What do I have on me? I don't have any looking glass, but you know what I do have? I have some food for Bullet. So I think Cam, remembering that she has this, is going to crouch down, rifle through her pack, grab some of that food, put it in like the travel bowl that she has for Bullet, and she's gonna start shaking it
Wonderful.
as they walk, like it'll guide him back.
As you kind of move to wander that direction, you hear a medium explosion because of the distance as something near Ed's home, the fire has reached. And there's a bigger poof of some lighter gray smoke in a sky full of black. You can still look down and see people working, trying
That's
to
the
save the
moonshine.
town.
Yep. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, that would be the moonshine.
His is not the only project hidden in those woods, too. People are expecting a few of those explosions today. And you see your townsfolk down there bleeding, sweating, working to save New Spring. As we see all of you with shaking little can begin on the path is, it's almost like it arcs to go above the waterfall, like the hills keep getting higher type of deal. So it's not dangerous like you could slip off, but it is a hike climb with the rattle of the dog food. What order do you...
Is it a clear climb? Like, can we see the path ahead of us, or is it like...
You can
heavy
for
road?
longer, medium lengths or so. And it's not like you have to use hand over feet. It's more like you might be, a stick would be helpful if anyone wanted to pick up a stick. Miss Abilene,
Adrian's picking up a stick.
Yes.
are you in the front or in the back or in the middle?
I did want to follow these tracks. I would assume that I started going this way and everyone followed me, so I'm in the front right now.
Wonderful. Are you awake?
Yes.
Wonderful. So Miss Abilene with we'll say Cam in the middle and the doctor in the back, now that we're not following the magical dog hair. As you're going around, calling for the dog, shaking the can, looking, the view is beautiful. For all the smoke and all the disaster, this edge that's about 3-5 feet or so to your left as you hike, it is the best view you can find in the valley. Was that a bark you just heard? Cam, do you think you just heard a bark?
I think I might have.
Do you think it was coming from up the trail or in the wood to like the right or off the edge to the left? Probably not off the edge.
I think it's up. I think it's further up.
Perfect. As you keep just moving through this path, it's not a long amount of time. We're fast forwarding little 2-3 minute intervals as you're like moving in the sun. And it's a little sweaty for Autumn just because of the exertion. And when you get to the very top plateau of this space, you can look down and see the entire town of New Spring. You see strange rivets in the earth making a large X with the church ruins directly in the middle. In the wood, you hear you hear a dog bark, a playful bark, bah! Out in the distance. You hear sounds in the bushes not far from you. You might have to leave the trail and turn your back to the town, to the fire, to Ellen, but you might have to leave it all to go into the wood to find your dog, if that's your dog, Cam.
I don't know any other dogs. It's
Do you
gotta be
turn
my
your
dog.
do you turn your back on the city?
I do.
Wonderful. Yes, Miss Abilene. Everyone can have a moment right here.
So we're walking in a direction that's unknown to us now.
Yeah, you were going basically north on a cliff edge of sorts, and now it's turning right into the woods, off
So
the trail a little more again.
I don't know what I was supposed to do with this, and I'm probably not doing it right. But I was looking in my travel pack to see if I had anything I could leave a
Mhm,
trail with. And
mhm.
I did bring this yarn.
You certainly did.
So I think I'm gonna try to make a trail back to this point that we know of as far as I can with this yarn.
You will be surprised at how far that yarn goes. You'll be surprised that you don't reach the end of it for quite some time. As you all are following this red, are you still in the front, Miss Abilene, with the yarn?
Uh
Would you be the one to push through the thicker thistles and things of that sort?
I feel like once we got to the point that no one recognized anymore, Cam kind of took the lead as the hunter of the group.
Mm-hmm,
I would
mm-hmm.
agree with that.
You in the
Uh,
back or the middle with your yarn then, probably leaving a trail.
yeah, I'll be in the middle.
Wonderful.
That's fine by me.
Perfect. The, anyone have any sort of training and traps, noticing things, anything of that sort?
Uh,
I
well,
mean,
I'm
I have seen the unseen.
I'm I have an inability in all perception tasks, but
That's
I am good
right.
at mapping.
I have special abilities in finding the way, so that's for navigation and figuring out the way when I'm lost and attempting to blaze a new route. And then I also
Wonderful.
have a special ability in skilled exploring, which is also another navigation one.
Extremely useful in this situation, for
Oh,
finding your way through the woods. So that would be a no on all the perception situations.
Well, see the unseen makes
Magic things.
well, no. It
Mm.
says that for when looking for things more conventionally hidden, the task is eased. So it just makes it easier for me to see stuff.
Perfect. So all right, so I'm gonna need 15 across the board. This is intellect, so edges work, efforts work, any skill sets work. I'll even let Cam, if you have any sort of like hunting, survival, trapping type of situation, you can apply that, even if it's
okay.
different than what I'm saying, because you're used to being out here.
I'm used to being out here. I'm good at mapping, and I also have living off the land,
Hmm.
which this is not really an ability that works here. But hey, give me an hour, and I can always find us some edible food in these woods.
And you're only like an hour from home. Like these woods aren't where you hang out all the time, but it's not super foreign to you either. Miss
No.
Abilene?
If I apply an effort,
Mhm.
what does that mean? How do I roll that?
Go
So
ahead, doctor.
I was gonna say, rules lawyer. Hey, we're gonna. So the way effort works is when you are spending effort, you are pulling 3 from your pool. So in this instance, it would be your intellect pool.
Oh,
If you have
perfect. That
more
gets me
effort,
to
like I just
15.
did before, then if you have 2 effort, then you can spend more than 3. Starts out with 3, and then you are able to spend just a singular one more to ease it. from there.
You might be the only one with double efforts.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
that's how you upgraded yourself or not, but that's
Not me.
So yeah, you'd spend 3
Um,
from intellect and it'd lower it another level.
So I
Yeah.
can spend if I only have 1 effort,
Mhm.
I can just spend 3 to lower it
Yeah,
by
you
3.
just spend
By
3
one.
from that pool. Yeah,
Yep.
and it would take it down to a 12. And then
Okay.
anything
Yeah.
else would take it to a 9, to a 6, to a 3.
So I'm gonna use my effort, and I
Mhm.
rolled a 13.
Amazing.
I just have to beat a 12. I just have to beat a 12. I just have to beat a 12. That's a 6.
Perfect.
So
Doctor?
I was gonna say you said 15.
Mhm. 12
task
because
is
of your vision.
so 12. Have an
And
edge,
then
which
edge
makes it
for 9.
9. Yeah, I think we'll just leave it at 9.
Wonderful.
That's a 16.
Perfect. You see that Cam is about to. What's the best way to put this? At this point where you turn off that cliff to go into the deeper woods, I'll say Miss Abilene notices this too. Both of you with your rolls. It's a little subtle until it's not. As this large black goat with curved blunt horns is running through the thistle and bristle at you. You can hear it pushing through the grunts, the burr, as it's coming in your direction towards Cam. Straightforward. Yes, Doctor.
The immediate instinct is to grab Cam's like collar and pull her back further back into the group and possibly like to the side of where this animal is coming towards us.
And does your body follow your immediate instinct?
It's I think what ends up actually happening is the collar is held and the arm doesn't move.
So you're
So just
holding them in place.
I
Okay,
think
all
that's
right.
what happens.
Give me a body roll to see how much not control you have over that arm right now, Doctor. You're trying to hit 15 seems too high. We'll do 12 again.
Okay. I have nothing to lower that.
And if you beat it, your hand comes open, like you're able to pull Cam out of trouble.
That's a 3.
Perfect. This goat that is just running towards you, snarling. Miss Abilene, do you have any interest in interacting with this goat in any sort of forceful way before it arrives?
No, not in a forceful way. I am gonna yell, "Get away, you devil beast!" That's what it looks like to me. Get away, you devil beast! And that's all Abilene is able to do at this moment of shock and shame.
Full charge, Doctor holding Cam right in place as the heels grind and stop in full halting in front of you. Cam, these eyes, these sad eyes, they stare at you and stare at the fire and stare at you and narrow at the doctor and then stare back at you. Do you remember these eyes, Cam?
Yes.
Clearly or like a dream?
Like a dream.
Your collar is still being held, and the goat, it's almost like they won't come out of the green. They won't go onto the trail. They won't come out to the coast. They're in the wood. They stopped right at the edge, just staring at you.
What are you doing? Get off me.
Sorry. I thought it was coming at you. I was going to pull you away, but it stopped. Sorry.
All right.
It's just looking at you, all of you.
Cam still has the food. She's gonna kind of glance at her companions and then she's gonna.
What is happening here?
You guys found a goat.
It's just
Hello.
a goat. I don't know.
Um,
Hello.
I mean, yeah, it's obvious. It's okay. It's okay. They don't know. They don't know. It's okay. I mean, it's not touching the trail, so it seems something's off about it. So yes, I was gonna talk to it, but you're more than welcome to feed it as well, I guess. We're all
Oh no. You go ahead and talk to the goat.
Yeah, do you talk goat, Doctor?
Um, no, but I mean, the telepathic thing is usually like how a lot of my stuff works.
Hmm.
Um, and I've just been kind of like every once in a while just starting contacting, breaking contact with folks. So yeah, I will just like speaking out loud, but also in its head, we'll just say, "Hello, honored friend. Is there anything we can do to help you? Have you seen a dog in the woods these past couple days?"
You recognize this motion because your own body makes it sometimes as a go arm jerks down, like this weird mechanical, almost shifting the eyes sadder and wider as the hourglasses become hourglasses. Can I have a roll from you, please? I'm gonna need. There's a speed stat, right? Agility.
Hmm.
If I
Uh-huh.
yes, um, I'm gonna need you to do 15, but you have edges, you have effort, you have experience,
I have an edge in that.
so that would be down
Uh,
to 12.
so that would be down to 12. I can spend 3 of my pool to bring it down to 9.
What does that
Uh,
leave your body pull at, by the way? I mean, your speed
Speed.
pull at.
that would leave my speed pool at 9, actually.
Beautiful. Then yeah, roll me a 9, Todd.
14.
Beautiful. You whoosh, and this goat with heartbroken eyes leaps past you and misses you and just goes over the edge of the falls, turning, and you see the body start to shift as like a hand comes out of it, like an ear turns into an ear, and then it falls out of your sight as it goes down the edge.
What the hell was that?
I I don't know. I'm assuming I didn't hear anything after that, in like just attempt at conversation.
No, you didn't. You
Yeah.
felt frustration at not being able to respond.
Mm. It
I
was
want to
trapped.
go over to the edge and see if I can see anything.
You
Uh,
see the town on fire. You see Ed's house partially kept. Uh, you, it's hard to look right down. You have to get a little close, but you see on some rocks at the bottom form that is torn between two worlds. Uh, Skin soft, hasn't been in the sun for years, and fur jagged and black and gray and dark. The face still that of a goat, the arm slender, a leg slender, the other parts covered in fur, red behind them along the stone.
I pull back away from the edge.
Hmm.
Um, I just walk over to the doctor and Miss Abilene and shake my head, and
That
we should keep
was
going.
trapped, and like you'll see uh the doctor kind of like actually walk over to the edge to actually investigate, like knowing that you looked, but also going to actually investigate for
Oh, our dear doctor.
Our dear
and
doctor.
kind of
There we
peer
go.
down. Hmm.
Oh, Selena, you're a little frozen for us, but I think we can still hear you. Oh, there you
We
go.
good?
You're moving. You're
Ah,
good. Yeah.
there we go. Um, they were frustrated before they left. Interesting. Huh. Hmm. And like we'll start just like getting closer, like basically maybe feet a couple inches from the edge, and has like crouched to look
Hmm.
over and peer properly. Hmm. Is there anything else of note from a more adventurous gaze?
I mean, there is a strange, mutated by magic body splattered on the stone. And then there's the town on fire. um,
Mm.
a couple different explosions from things like distilleries. Besides that, a beautiful waterfall, um, and the woods still behind you with supposedly a dog within it.
I think we need to go back to the falls.
What?
I
Why?
think that's where we were led originally. That's I think, if nothing else, Bullet I think will come back to that area. There's water there.
You're like above the falls, sort of. Like this is still kind of part of the same cliffside. So
Mm-hmm.
you can actually look down and see the falls where you were not too long ago.
I think I think the food idea is very wise, but I think we should head back down to the falls. I think that's, if nothing else, we can get a better lay of the land. We can kind of see, but it's much more wooded. Not as
Do I see any
visibility.
dog footprints up here where we are?
Good point. I don't think so. Does anyone have any skills for being trained for like noticing deception? I'm just curious. Like any of between the three of you, because that is a skill you can be trained.
Mm-mm.
Okay,
I'm
perfect.
trained in deception, but not seeing deception.
What an admittance this late
Huh.
into our story. Um,
Whoa.
Cam, what do you
Whoa.
think? It's your dog. This goat really liked you before it died. This is a little your stomping grounds. Uh, what do you think of the doctor's advice of going back down versus going deeper in?
I heard my dog up here. So I think what Cam's gonna do is she's gonna she's gonna take off her pack and she's gonna give the can of food to Abilene. She's gonna give her pack to the doctor, and she's gonna say, "You two go back down. I'll keep looking up here. If you're right, then Bullet will meet up with you two, and I'll meet up with you both in after I check for myself."
Are you sure it's safe to be up here by yourself? I understand that you do this often, but also Bullet is normally with you. Is there I'm concerned for everybody's safety. So I just want to make sure. Right? Buddy system, does that make sense or no?
Yes, and I think I think you two should be buddies. Uh,
Is Cam's tone patient, concerned? I need these academics out of my space. What would be the easily conveyed emotion that Cam's putting into this statement?
I mean, she's being genuine.
Mhm.
She
Will
she
you
she
take
believes it.
will you take this yarn I've been using to leave a trail? We can just follow back what we've done already. And this
Mhm.
way you don't get lost.
Yeah, of course. I think that's
And
a
you got the compass.
and I have your compass. That's right. Thank you
How
very
will
much
they
for
find
that.
you?
Well, how about this? I'll Cam takes the twine and she's gonna unravel it a little bit until she finds the other end, and she's gonna tie the other end of it to her belt loop. I'll be at the end of the twine if you need me.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
As the academics begin to shuffle back down, and it won't take them a long time to get there, we see just this red yarn stretching out into the wood. Cam, you know this place. It doesn't feel sinister. The goat situation was unnerving, but there's been a few things that have happened lately that have been a little unnerving. It'll be easy for anything to find you because they can just follow this yarn. They don't even have to ask, "How do we find you?" because the answer's been left. Maybe when they get to you at the end of it, they'll have expected someone else, maybe a teacher, um, but they'll find you. Cam walks from our story and our vision. We do not see what happens, just like we do not see what's happened to Ed, what happened to Ellen, or what will happen to the double A's, triple A's, my apology. Um, Dear readers, we are going to pick this up at this exact moment next Friday. Tot, unfortunately, will not be with us, but Cam very well may
Ooh.
be in one form or another. I'm going to let my cats introduce themselves and say goodbye really quick before I read some things because I need to breathe for a second because I was on the edge of my seat during all of that. Miss Abilene, what is your name? What do you do? Oh,
My name is Taz. Apparently, I sentence my friends to their death. When I'm not doing that, you can find me on socials at Raider and Rogue. I play D&D with my friends on Monday nights on the New Age Geeks channel, and I'm in distress. That's all I got.
it's all right. We'll just bite the bullet and get through this. Selena,
Hi.
hello.
Yes.
Do you have a name?
Yes, you have said it. I am Selena. You can find me on the social medias at ABCDFAR. I am on here currently. I will be here next week. And I'm occasionally on some podcasts. And yes, that's kind of it.
You
I'm
are
here.
occasionally on some podcasts.
And yeah, I've been Adrian and Charlie today.
You have been both. You've certainly been
have.
both today. Todd, do you have a name and an exciting career in audio dramas?
I do have both of those things. Hi, I am Tot or Tatiana, whatever you prefer. I am the writer and producer of the horror audio drama actual play Soul Operator, which you can find on all social media platforms at Soul Operator Pod and everywhere you can listen to podcasts. You can also find us on the Rusty Quill website if you're so inclined. I
Fancy,
am a
fancy.
voice actress in a couple other audio dramas that you can hear me in. For a full list of my credits, you can check out my website, which is linked on my social medias at Talk Coco on everything. We're on Blue Sky now. We're everywhere. So if you want a full list of my credits and everywhere I've been, I'm slowly infecting the AP space, as you can see. You can hear me on shows like The Heart is a Dungeon, Nerds with Dice, Roll D5, and please look forward to Thank You D6, which is a new channel that is going to be coming out soon.
What?
Woo!
Amazing. Tot Cocoa, like the drink.
Exactly. That's my branding. You'll never guess what my
just got
favorite
it.
hot drink is.
I just got it.
Hot beverages. Yes.
Hey, I'm Rara. I run a fledgling podcast called The Heart is a Dungeon. We play games with friends, and it's beautiful. I'm a little distracted by everything that did and did not happen. Nerds with Dice has an open casting call, if they still do, for Metahuman Rising, and you can find the sign-up sheet on Twitter or in their Discord. October 29th at 8 p.m., they have 10 Candles game. October 30th, there's a Monster of the Week with Casper. And you can just apply to run a game. You can fill out a form, be like, hey, I want to run 10 candles, but we're all Ewoks. And they'll like think about it. They're like, Ewok jerky is kind of weird Star Wars canon that not enough people go into because it's a real thing. And then they'll judge if whether or not they think your Ewok jerky saga is worth showing. So you should do that. And if you haven't, you should donate to hurricane relief because
Yes, do
we're
that.
able to because we have like internet and stuff. We're not in
Help the folks in
hurricane destruction.
Appalachia.
Yeah, give it a hand. We've got folks in community from there who have been having a real hard time, and we're going to be doing this next week too. Unfortunately, Tot will not be with us. Adam and Kim will be with us. Sorry, Ellen and Ed will be with us. We'll see if they're conscious.
Double E's.
Producer, I am beginning my exit spiel. I should have probably typed that. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been a lot of fun. This is the longest
bless you.
series, bless you, I've ever GM'd live already. being more than one, it's the longest one I've ever GM'd live.
Hey.
So we appreciate you so much, and please everyone take care of yourself, and let's wave now for a while and give our producers some time.
Take care
And
of your fucking selves.
yeah,
Take care of your fucking selves.